Watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
We're talking about the military hotspots, the war zones, and the places that the U.S. is involved in. Our guest is military historian and Chancellor Emeritus of UNC Wilmington, Dr. James R. Leutze. Jim, before we leave the Israeli issue, can the U.S. continue its strong support for Israel and still be effective in brokering some stability or even peace in the Middle East?
I have to be direct on this and say that I think that the Bush administration was not even-handed in its approach. I think it was too uncritically supportive of Israel and not sufficiently concerned about the interests of the Palestinians and of other Middle Eastern countries. So I think I would hope that we are
going to move more to the middle?
That we're going to move more to the middle, to be an honest broker.
What about this whole issue of Israel's right to exist? I mean, is that solvable?
I thought that had been solved in a sense. I mean, I thought that officially and internationally and legally it had been agreed that Israel had a right to exist, and I certainly would be one that would be unwilling to compromise on that issue.
You mentioned Iran. The tensions between the U.S. and Iran continue. What needs to happen there to thaw our relations? Certainly, if Israel does a strike on some of those nuclear installations in Iran, it's all up in the air.
There's good reason to believe that that was considered in October of last year, and the Bush administration would not give Israel the permission to overfly Iraq in order to make their attack. So I don't think it's purely sort of wild speculation that is a problem. I think that the United States may have a diplomatic opening in working with Iran.
Seems to be softening just
there seems to be a
rhetoric.
little bit more opening there, and I think we ought to graft that because Churchill's old saying, better jaw than war. I'd rather have us negotiating with the Iranians if that's possible.
And we could talk about any of these issues for a whole show, but I want to touch on our relations with Russia. They've cooled with our support of the Georgia military action, and more notably the Bush administration's initiative to install a missile defense system in Eastern Europe. What's your take on all of that?
I guess I'd have to say that I think we have been a little bit too hard-nosed and aggressive about a missile defense system, which theoretically is being installed in order to protect the country from missiles coming from Iran. Those are the Eastern European missiles that we have negotiated with Poland.
Should the Obama administration move forward with that?
No.
No.
If I could give you a straight,
that's a
straight answer.
That's a good answer.
I'd say no.
And let's just touch on Guantanamo before we run out of time. The president signed an executive order to close the detention center and outlawed some interrogation techniques that have been characterized as torture. Your take on both of those?
I believe they are. I believe waterboarding is torture, and I think that we have very severely complicated the legal situation, because if any information you've gained through torture is not admissible in a court. So getting information by torture is a bad idea generally. And I think there are other techniques that are equally effective. I don't buy this, a bomb buried under New York and there's one person that knows how to do it.
Well, what about closing the detention center? Good thing?
I think closing the detention center would be an absolute necessity if you're going to get the world opinion back thinking the United States is trying to do the right thing. It's become a poster child for excess.
What's your take on whether we should normalize relations with Cuba?
I think we definitely should normalize relations.
Do you think we're moving there?
I hope we're moving in that direction. Cuba is no threat to the United States. And I think that we could help the people of Cuba by doing this, and I think we could further the possibility of a more democratic and open society if we were to do so. I think as long as we do what we're currently doing and try to
The Cuban community in Florida were the ones that really
opposed.
I
hope they're softening. I mean, and I understand why they're angry and that they've lost property, they've lost family members, and that they found this 50-year regime terribly oppressive. But I am definitely in favor of normalizing relations, or at least softening relations, improving contact between the two countries, allowing more trade between the two countries. To my mind, it is totally ridiculous.
Let me just throw out North Korea and get some reaction from you. I don't know if I have a specific question.
Oh, Lord. I mean, this is, when we get to this point, that's when you wonder why Obama wants to be president of the United States, or why anybody wants to be president of the United States. The North Koreans are I've been to the North Korean border. I haven't been to North Korea. It is a frightening country. I have followed it fairly closely. They're totally irrational. They are so separated from the world that they operate in a parallel universe, and they are capable of doing anything. I don't know if they fire it. They're talking about test firing a missile. I wouldn't be at all surprised. They have no sensitivity to world opinion or
So are they such a wild card that we can't depend on any agreements we come to with them?
I think we have to continue to try to deal with them.
Issue by issue?
We should, I forget the term of art that they would like, that we would normalize relationships with them or something and deal in good faith. They're very, very sensitive, and terminology and face and all of these things that you hear about are very important in dealing with them. They're a real hard case to figure out.
A united Korea is not
apparently. I don't think that's in the cards for a long time.
I never thought Germany would be.
Well, it's interesting. I was in Germany at the time that it and interviewing people from the U.S. State Department who said it'll be 25 years. And I got up back to Wilmington, and it was announced that the wall was coming down and that there was going to be one Germany. So I'm better at predicting the past, I guess, than I am at predicting the present.
Are you? We have like 10 seconds. Are you pleased with how Obama has moved forward on?
Up to this point, I'm somewhat disappointed that he has not moved more quickly on Guantanamo Bay. I'm a little not totally satisfied with some of the approaches as far as wiretapping and other things are
We're going to
concerned.
have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Jim Leutze, our guest this morning, noted military historian and Chancellor Emeritus UNC Wilmington. If you'd like to see Byline online, go to WILM-TV.com and click on the Byline icon. That'll do it for this morning. We'll see you next week. I'm Don Ansell. Have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.